There's a lot of information out there these days that touch on topics around succeeding, becoming personally fulfilled, and things like habits that people should have to be successful, things that people should do and think about to be successful. And depending which author you read, which video you watch, the authors come from different perspectives. They come from different angles on the topics around things that people should do to be successful in life and to be fulfilled in their own life. And there are many different aspects of things that feature into people, being happy, doing well, succeeding. And one of the topics that you often see, you might often hear about, is resilience, and how having a resilient personality can help people just achieve the things they want, be the person they want to be, and be successful in their own ways. So lots of different authors will convey different messages about that same topic, each from their own particular viewpoint. But I just wanted to talk a little bit around resilience in a way that I understand it, in a way that it kind of fits into my broader understanding of things when it comes to feeling fulfilled, going out and achieving things you want, being successful in the way that's important to you. Because being successful, success, these things are very relative. What one person might define as success isn't necessarily how another person might define that. And similarly, how some people might define resilience wouldn't be the way that other people define resilience. But I wanted to touch upon the topic of resilience in a way that resonates with me, in a way that feels important to me, because this might resonate with some of you as well. So the kind of mainstream kind of thoughts and definitions around resilience, it's a lot about how people can just bounce out of problems without being, torn apart, or without just kind of letting yourself be brought down for long periods of time when things don't work out the way you want, when certain problems emerge in your life, maybe unexpected things, having that ability to kind of bounce out of things and to not dwell on the negative. That kind of meaning is often attributed to the definition of resilience. The way I see it, and the way I see kind of any endeavor in life, is point one: things will never work out exactly as you have planned. Whatever plan you have, be it for a new job, a new project, whatever you're thinking of doing, if you're expecting things to turn out exactly as you wish them to, then you're going to witness a lot of curveballs coming your way, a lot of unexpected things. So I guess the point there is, yes, it's important to have a sense of direction. It's important to have a sense of where you want things to go, but always accept in your mind that things will never exactly turn out the way you want, and already carry that open mind from the beginning. So that's important, because things never do transpire in exactly the way you have planned. But that's not a bad thing. When you allow yourself to have that kind of open mind, and you're already expecting things not to work out in exactly the way where you may be anticipated, then it doesn't catch you out by surprise. It doesn't hit you in such a negative way, because you're already allowing for that kind of flexibility factor going forwards. So yeah, accepting that things don't always turn out according to plan, and keeping that open mind with that kind of flexible mindset from the beginning, that's really important. And why is that? Because when things don't turn out the way you want them to, maybe you're in the art business and you're selling art, and maybe your sales have dropped unexpectedly, or maybe you just sold a house to somebody, maybe you work in the real estate industry, and all of a sudden, just when the contract's about to be signed, the potential purchase is very unhappy about something. You have some very difficult conversations going to fall through. In many, many other examples where things just don't always work according to plan. Maybe when you're thinking things are just about to work out for you the way you want, something happens and it doesn't turn out the way you were initially planning it to. If you can kind of keep an open mind, if you're able to let things that don't work out as envisaged not take you down, if you can just kind of accept that and just know that, okay, instead of letting this really bad situation hit me in the gut and really make my mood fall, my energy fall, put me to a pessimistic kind of mindset, what you can do there is when things are not working according to plan, kind of accept whatever happened for what it is, but then kind of lightly drift onto like another kind of thought. When a particular aspect of your life or your job or your relationship isn't working exactly the way you have planned, instead of going deep, deep, deep into thought about that and trying to work your way out of the problem, the negativity of it, instead of trying to be resilient in a sense of working through negativity, no, just don't don't fall into the pit of negativity, but rather kind of drift away from it and just learn that when a certain aspect of your life isn't working out the way you have planned, kind of let it go a little bit and refocus on something else. And when you do that, then whatever problem was happening that might have been taking you down, let that kind of sort itself out. Kind of address that problem from an eagle's eye perspective as opposed to being engulfed in it. Because when you're engulfed in it, you have no energy to focus on other things, even the positives in your life. When you're engulfed by one problem, it's taken up so much of your thought and energy that even things that are working out well in your life start to go bad because this is really, really taking up all your attention. So it's important to learn that things don't always work out. And when things aren't working out, kind of acknowledge the problem. If you can kind of sense the solution to that problem, gravitate towards a solution. If you can't really sense a solution for that problem now, or if there's nothing you can do about it, then allow yourself to drift into some other topic that's more positive, think about something that is working out. And when you do that, whatever problem was bothering you, it will eventually sort itself out one way or another. And even if it doesn't fix itself, what was previously a big problem, it'll become a minuscule problem. And then the other things that you're kind of being distracted about because you're trying to make other things work in your life, maybe the other things that are working out well, as you focus on those other good things, then those good things will strongly overshadow whatever negative thing was happening. Until the point where you'll either have the solution to the other problem, it'll just come to you, because when you're not in that negative zone in your mind, and when you're a bit more optimistic leaning and you're a bit more, above the storm, you'll get the insights to the solutions. You'll know the next step to take to kind of take you where you want to go in a good place. So a lot of people will say, resilience is about suffering in the problem, trying to really wrestle the problem to the ground, put it into a good place, show that you're better. No, I think if you want to have like a resilient personality and to really stay strong and happy and fulfilled, sometimes you need to know how to focus your mind and focus your attention. So it really is so much about training your focus. And if you can train your focus in the right way, you'll have a personality that a lot of people say, oh, you're very resilient. But actually what you're doing is you're just changing your focus slightly, where problems don't take you down so much, and you become a bit more solution oriented. And you can kind of gravitate towards those things that are working out. And you end up knowing when you should place your energy into a problem or not. Because if there's no solution immediately, then maybe you should kind of not get too involved in that and only really take action, like strong action in relation to the problem, when you know you're gearing it into the right direction. But sometimes when the problem is new and you can't think clearly about it, or it's not really clear what the next step is in relation to that, just put it aside for a bit. So I think when it comes to, for me personally, when it comes to having that kind of resilient personality and not being brought down by problems, it's not, a lot of the mainstream will say it's, being resilient is about suffering and enduring the suffering and then crawling out of the suffering. I would say it's not so much about that. I would disagree to some extent. Yes, I do agree that when problems happen, there is some sense of discomfort, but instead of letting that discomfort magnify itself more and more, in the early stages of feeling that discomfort, already kind of train your focus elsewhere, and know that if you're not letting your mind get bogged down by the problem, then you'll start, because your mind's in a better place, because you're thinking about other things, you'll start getting those insights and ideas about the solutions to the problem without experiencing the intense suffering. So just know that when a lot of the suffering that we experience when things aren't working out, it's so much about us. It's not so much about the problem. We like to blame other people or the situations or the problems for our own suffering. But actually, if we know how to train our own focus in a way that's healthy for us, in a way that's productive for us, and just trust that by focusing on things that are slightly more positive, working out slightly better, that will, in the grander scheme of things for you, that will benefit you. If you have that element of trust, because things do work out when you focus in more positive ways. If you do have that element of trust, and you do just apply just a little bit of effort to train your focus on better things, then you find that your whole life, your whole world becomes better. Things that you didn't have solutions to before, the answers come to you. Or when you feel kind of stagnant, you didn't really know what to do next, you get new ideas. So, you know, being resilient, having a proper resilient personality, is not so much about enduring the pain and just accepting that and enduring more pain and surviving. And no, it's a little bit about that, but for me it's more about training your focus into the right place, so that things that would bring many people down, for you it just has somewhat of a minimal impact, some discomfort, but immediately it causes you to focus onto better things. So yeah, I guess the headline there is, we don't we cause a lot of our own suffering without even knowing it. And there are lots of things don't work out, but there's a lot we can do to kind of minimize the pain and suffering of things. We can actually navigate so much of these things that happen in life in a way that it doesn't inflict so much harm on us. And it's just about knowing that, understanding that, and just trying to take the steps to 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 shift our focus in a slightly better place.